tried to be fair, but you don't believe in doing your share. But I've learned my lesson, and now I can see the white guilt in my heart is dying away, is dying away. Your movies don't thrill me like they used to do. The words only chill me, I'm glad that we're through. My heart was yearning, but now I can see the white guilt in my heart is dying away, is dying away. You fooled me a while, you thought you were wise, you even believed I fell for your lies, but the tricks turned on you. Now gladly I say the white guilt in my heart is dying away, is dying away. Your movies don't thrill me like they used to do. Your words only chill me, I'm glad that we're through. My heart was once yearning, but now I can say the white guilt in my heart is dying away, is dying away, is dying away.
I never hate my race, but until recently I didn't know history class was jacked completely. Found my new family with the team going free. My old family doesn't understand me, cause I am so pro-white. No coke, no Sprite, I am rolling with the bubbly, gonna be more white. I saw them twist history right before my very eyes. Insurrection Day, it's in the book and it's all lies. But now I am alive and well to tell it. But will generations down the line be able to sell it? I've always been a thinker on the search for both sides, but they label me an outcast and they cannot tell me why. Guess I'm just a black sheep, white boy who doesn't hesitate to make a lot of fucking noise. I'm the black sheep, white boy, and I wouldn't change a thing if I ever had the choice. Cause the red's the color I bleed. Yes, we all to be red. I have to protect my family. Why does affirmative action make them not hire me? Even in the countries where I'm the minority. Is my rage just that awesome and no other could compete? Is that what the anti-whites are trying to tell me? Why am I always seen as such a threat? To the point they wanna strip me down till there's nothing left. Old friends from high school, man, I haven't kept one, but I got a new crew and it's where I belong. Cause if you ain't going free, you ain't rolling with me. And there are even anti-whites in my own family. But I am the one who's comfortable with myself. I try to save them from the hate so wildly raising hell. Cause I'm the black sheep, white boy who doesn't hesitate to make a lot of fucking noise. I'm the black sheep, white, it's Nigeria to black. Don't get your panties in a bunch, cause I have the right to ask. See, I'm the black sheep, cause I call it hypocrisy. And the media will give you emotions, but they will not give you honesty. Yeah, you have your feelings, but I have the crime rate. And I'ma shoot to kill if there's a danger my way. So I do not blame the cops, just the ones who are cowards, who hesitate to pull the trigger unless it is one of ours. Cause he's a black sheep, white boy, who doesn't hesitate to make a lot of fucking noise. I'm the black sheep, white boy, and I wouldn't change a thing if I ever had the choice. Cause the red's the color I bleed. Yes, we all to bleed red. I have to protect my family, so I put my people to death.
Drowning in the argument, the anti-white says, what exactly is anti-white? You have got to be animated with the righteous passion of reclaiming our destiny. We are the heroes of this era. Hello, we're rolling in. We're rolling in. After 2 rolling shorts, have you all told everybody that we're live? Please do. We have a lot of nonsense going on when it comes to shadow banning. So we need help to get the message out. Please let everybody know. Excuse me. All right, just getting things lined up myself. Have you all seen this video of the white male? He's definitely not a man. I got to change that in the title. Got to write on the thumbnail. Got to write on the thumbnail, but he's definitely a male. Crying, and this is I wanted to come in with a roll in and be with you for more than just 10 minutes, be able to interact a little bit before we get out of here, because this is a magnificently important opportunity to really witness the degree to which the anti-white poisoning manipulates the minds of those who are trapped within the anti-white narrative, everyone except for us. You can see to the degree these meme pathogens that people, just anti-white ideas, you could also refer to them as anti-white-isms individually, that how powerful these are in directing and determining the lives of people. And this is what we talk about in the process of going free. The method of going free is how you turn this around and turn the mind around, turn this understanding excuse me, of the human psyche, subconscious mind, and how it operates our lives, 98% or so of our lives. Very rarely are people consciously thinking about things. They're immediately turning over control to the subconscious mind. Can everybody hear me okay, just by the way? By the by, they're immediately turning over control to the subconscious mind. And as a consequence, they're living by way of their learned experience. And the most powerfully, as we talk about here in the method of Go Free, is entertainment, because the subconscious mind is incapable of differentiating between reality and artificial reality, entertainment. This is why your pulse quickens during the chase scene. It's why you get angry. It's why when you watch the movie or read the book, it's why you get frightened from the horror movie, and then for a week later, walk slowly, tread slowly and softly through your house, listening to every little thing. It is inarguable. The only people that really push back against me are those who either don't understand that maybe they're midwits, but also there are jealous people out there, because once I explain this and can demonstrate, then there's no argument to the contrary. My formula will work every single time, and we demonstrate that. Their formulas don't work. It's quite simple, actually. So You can see here, these aren't abstractions that causes the white man to burst into tears. This is important because this coming Sunday, during our Sunday gathering, I'm going to be talking about my the event I attended, my time at the Shieldings event, where much more weight is given to abstractions. It's akin to what we see out of most Republican voters or conservative-minded people. It's this. How can I say? What's the best way I'm trying to share with you? It's almost this delicate behavior, this tiptoeing around things that they have learned are objectionable, such as defending the white race from victimization. To the point. Now, what have I said to you all? How many times have I said I used the analogy or example that a white person would rather allow white children to be harmed than to say they are going to defend the white children because they are being attacked because they're white. They would rather allow the victimization to occur. And in fact, we see that. And in fact, we see that here with this guy who has, I don't know all of the details, and perhaps you can fill me in, but from what I understood, from what I read, he's got a wife or girlfriend, a child or children, and this anti-white, non-white guy was making what the police referred to as terroristic threats. Do you want to be dead? And he's got a giant knife on him, and do you want to be dead? You and your kids, you want to be dead? And they're like, well, yes, if it means that we can be seen as proper and obedient anti-whites. Yes, kill the kids first, as long as I can be seen. Because if I object to the killing of the kids and you think I'm in some way heretical to anti-whiteism, well, I'm going to break down. I'm going to beg for mercy for you. And that's what happens. This white guy, white male, absolutely bawling that they would do. I would want him dead. If somebody came, irrespective of their race, came, especially an anti-white, and wanted to kill me and my children, I would want the police to just gun him down. I would want that to just be done. Let's just be done with him. This makes no sense. You don't deserve enough. I don't want to take the chance of you coming back. I hope they just have an altercation with the police and they just gun them to have good reason, legal reason to gun the person down. And that they live, and then they decide that they want to go and live in a foreign country far away from me and my family. That's what I would want. What can I say? But the disease is exemplified, the disease of anti-whiteism exemplified in this individual. And it perfectly illustrates what we talk about here in the Go Free method. It is yet again another proof on top of all of the other proofs that Go Free method is right, it's accurate, it predicts, it retrodicts, and we'll continue to do that, and we'll continue to talk about our successes, because every product and service earns your business. Every truism earns your respect when it demonstrates its legitimacy, when it demonstrates how right it is. And so we're going to continue talking about it. And here, if nowhere else will they listen to truth. And we've got some things to talk about. Another confirmation of positions I've shared here many a time before during this conference. Good people, though, there. Good people. Some really good folks. We got Promethean Kitchen is here. Great to see you. My throat is still recovering. So if it sounds a bit weird, if it sounds a bit hoarse, if it sounds a bit raspy, maybe you like that. I don't know. But otherwise, it's because I'm still recovering from the injury, the throat injury. The great Franklin is here. Wonderful to see you. And he says it rightfully, accurately, and truthfully, beautifully. Everyone who opposes Go Free is dumb. I mean, it's just, and you know what's great about that is that all those dumb people, they'll understand. We're going to be reviewing in a moment Jesse Waters, Prime Time, him talking about this with a psychologist, I believe. I didn't get an opportunity to see this interview, but I saw the beginning and that he was going to be interviewing her. And so we have that pulled up, ready to roll. Please, while you're waiting for the show to begin and the lights to go down and the spotlight to be on yours truly, and then the stripper music to begin playing, share the URL with your friends, your family, and strangers so they can think very strange things about you. Share the URL, give a like to the stream here, the roll-in gathering, and maybe we'll make a difference. Maybe we'll get to somebody who really needs to hear us right now, because otherwise I'm being horribly shadow banned, even on Twitter, horribly shadow banned. And what a big surprise. Does anybody remember me saying when the whole purchase of a Twitter rolled around, not only we perfectly explained, and then it played itself out exactly as we said, the motivations behind the purchase is Elon Musk, and I'm not going to go through it all. We don't have the time tonight. But this purchase and what it meant, and we, Team White Wellbeing, if you are a member, consider yourself a gladiator par excellence. You are in the advanced placement class. You are the special forces of white positivity. That's what we do. You are the special. We are fast roping, and we're doing a halo, coming in, doing a halo, hauling ass, and landing just in time to have the firearm ready, and of love, the firearm of love. And we're going to roll in there because we're not hood rich. We're not going to be able to murder people and just get away. So it's a rifle of love, rifling through the love. We're going to bring that love, hope, and redemption to all of our brothers and sisters out there. Good people of all races are welcome to join. They have joined. We need to take down anti-whiteism, and this is how and where you do it. We are the people making the difference in the world. You wonder what are all the changes? There are things happening in the world. There are things happening. Who's doing it? Team White Wellbeing. Well, over there at Twitter, I and Team White Wellbeing, we were the only people talking about that Twitter did not intrinsically have its power. Remember this, that Twitter received its power by way of universities and establishment media citing Twitter as the heartbeat of the pulse of what people talked about, et cetera, et cetera. And we said here, we were the only ones. I didn't hear it anywhere else, screaming it into the void. Everybody else was saying, this is it. This is it. It's it. We're going to control, we're going to dominate Twitter. We're going to take off the landscape. That's how they sounded to me. Like these weird little trolls, these weird little gremlins crawling out of the toilet. Jason, we've got Twitter. We're going to take over the power of Twitter. A lot of sexually confused young men. A lot of girls who think they're princesses of the pig pen. A lot of them were saying these things, weren't they? And we said, no. Twitter doesn't have power within itself. Twitter is given power by all of these entities citing it, and that they would just choose something else to cite. And I said, maybe TikTok, maybe Instagram, maybe. Well, it's TikTok. If you notice, they've begun citing TikTok. Then there was a poll recently. I don't have it pulled up because I'm just remembering I want to share another victory with you all. A poll about where do people get their news from? Where are they getting their facts and news from? And it was overwhelmingly their news and facts and ideas from TikTok. Do you think the poll is honest with you? Well, maybe in part. But I would imagine, as is always the case with pollsters, they are pushing. It's a push poll. It's a push. Push it. Push it real good. You remember them playing that at the football games? And that's what they're doing. So they're pushing it. They want you to look to TikTok. They want people to think TikTok is the place to go. And they're now saying, they're citing it and what this person says on TikTok and what that person says on TikTok. And it's so funny to me, because all of these conservative types and alternative right-wing types and whatever they want to call themselves, America First or whatever, crackerheads or whatever, they're little bears, little badgers with little crotch diseases and whatever it is that they have. They're all saying, no, keep TikTok. We want TikTok. We don't want the American government interfering with our TikTok. I mean, talk about the sheep being led to the slaughter. Where's that Judas go? Where is he? He's walking right into TikTok right now, and you can see all the major content creators following right in, all their little herds following them right in. You slaughter them. Slaughter them. Push it. So, right, once again. Now, as I said, Elon Musk, many, many billions of dollars, a genius, surrounding himself with bright people. He's going to do everything he can. Remember, I talked about a YouTube version, potentially, of a Twitter. I talked about a sort of a good Twitter, bad Twitter they could divide it in. I shared a number of ideas that I thought that Elon Musk could implement to remain or to keep Twitter a force. But it's being supplanted. I don't know how quickly or not they're moving on these things. Since I'm a genius, he's a genius, we probably come to the same conclusions. And I don't know, though. Maybe execution there is a difficult thing. Maybe he's also being undermined. Remember, I told you that if he's going to contend with the anti-white oligarchs who have infinite money, since they run that printer, they're just running that printer. They pull them out and they're like, click, click, click. That smells beautiful. That smells like subservience. Smells like subservience from the masses. We're going to be getting to Jesse Waters, but just hold on. Hold your water. Hold your Jesse Waters, all right? Hold your Jesse Waters a minute. We're going to get there. Just hold on to your Jesse Waters. He's not going anywhere. Come on, they're paying him big bucks. He's not going anywhere. So, that's the way it works. He's got a lot of people, and I said he's going to need to set up an entire division of people working, we'll call it marketing, lawyers, etc. People fundraising. Even though he's got tons of money, you still got to bring money from elsewhere or he goes out of money. And he didn't do that. I haven't seen. Maybe he did. It's top secret. Maybe it's in Antarctica with that base that we were told about so long ago. But I'm not seeing it, and we're not seeing the sort of pushback. He has to contend with them. He has to aggressively contend with them, or he's constantly going to be vexed by them until there's nothing left. So anyhow, that's another victory to celebrate. Franklin is working on this wonderful project, and perhaps he can share on Telegram. He's got a page, and I want you to help him. It's the No White Guilt Receipts, I believe, on Telegram. What he's doing is going back and he's finding, my shirt smells so good. Ooh, do your clothes ever smell that good? Wow. Man. Oh, wait. Oh, that's just my natural man musk. I'm sorry about that. Smells good. He wants to get the receipts together. So you have all these people who are coming in over all of these years. These people stabbed me in the back. If I turn around right now, I look like a porcupine, except it's all handles. Handles to all the knives and swords that malefactors and even high-class white sympathetic, supposedly high-class white sympathetic people have just stabbed and stabbed and stabbed in my back. They're pushing it too. Push it. And so it's a mess. It's a mess back there. So they went from saying it can't be done and we will undermine you, Jason, so that you can't do it, to it being done, it's happening, and so just claim that he never did it. It's amazing. We don't even need anti-whites to things up. We don't. We don't even need your average white boob out in the streets, a vague, as we call them here with the Go Free method, a Westman vague out in the streets. We don't even need them and their selfish individualism to undermine us. We don't even need anti-whites of any race to undermine us, because we got plenty of underhanded, low-class, jealous turds in the white sympathetic sphere, whether they're highly educated and erudite or they feign, they have this pretense to it, whatever it is, or they're just outright LARPing imbeciles. They are doing a great job on their own. No idea. It took me all of these years. I see it, and I thought, this is an exception. That's an exception. There's got to be a higher percentage of people like me, like the people who are on Team White Will Be, who want to succeed. And no, actually, we are a pretty solid minority. But that's special forces. That's how they are. They're always a minority of the armed forces. Franklin says, receipts on Telegram, please contribute. I would love to give people credit. He wants you to contribute so he can give you credit. Cool Papa J Magic says, let's see, talking to Andrew, I saw some tragic videos myself, but you have to tag Jason as well. Yes, tag me, Andrew, wherever you are, because I can't see. I guess I will reference that right now. If you would like to financially gift over the course of this roll-in going free, if you would like to financially gift, you can do so over at Entropy, which is up and running right now. Although I am going to make a note because I have to try to fix the chat widget. You can financially gift there, but the chat widget needs to be repaired. You may also financially gift at Cash App. These are in the description below. And Cash App will take cash and cryptocurrency. I don't know which ones, but several. You also have Odyssey as an option. We'll take cash and their cryptocurrency. Finally, DLive, it takes their cute little cryptocurrency. And I am most grateful to everybody who financially gifts while we are together. Otherwise, please tag me as No White Guilt. The @ symbol, No White Guilt. Please do that. The @ symbol is on the number 2. And then write the words No White Guilt. It will turn a color for me, and it will help me find your comment, question, or statement. Be polite, and I will get to them all. Let me just make sure everything is rolling properly. It is. Great. Wonderful to see you all. Julius is here. Says, the longer people hate on you, the stronger you become. Amen to that. I appreciate it. Is it Julia? Thank you for that, sister. I refuse to put my glasses on. I am willing my vision back to normal. Actually, it was 2015. 2015. My whole life. Damn it. Who else do we have? The great Thunder from Down Under is with us. Wonderful to see you, good brother. Cool, Bubba J Magic, a true champ. Missouri Battle Flag. Mrs. Rocker Red, hello, sister. Lavish, hello to you, sister. Spud is here. Hello, brother. Promethean Kitchen. The best kitchen there is. Vase of Flowers is here. Gentile gentleman, hello and welcome. Good to see you, brother. It's very good to see you. Promethean Healing is here. Hello to you. Lavish says, I get my news from No White Guilt and some Telegram channels. Amen. You should only, when it comes down to it, the main source of news for Team White Wellbeing is me. It is me, or it's others in Team White Wellbeing. They're talking about it in our groups and things like that because they're going to be looking at it through the Go Free lens, which means they're going to be seeing it clearly. Unlike everyone else, like today with SCOTUS and so many others. Victorian time traveler, a true champion is here, traveling through time. Davey is here. Wonderful to see you. What was this? Move screen. Don't sit idle on me. Ruckus is here. Hello and welcome. Maximo. It's kind of a big thing. The prediction about Twitter, I made it several times. It's kind of a big thing since everybody was over the moon. They were over the moon with how now Elon having all the power, or, the alternative there was that, oh, he's undercover. He's one of them. But aside from that, everybody else thought, oh my God, the power is going to be wielded by, and it's just like today with the SCOTUS ruling, you have anti-white. I mean, come on, this is so it's like hearing a child lie to you. The anti-whites coming out and they're like, this ruling is atrocious, and now we're not going to be able. Oh, shit. That is Bravo Sierra. That is Hotel Sierra. They are actually going out of their way. They know damn well and good that they are still going to be able to select based on the criteria that they choose. And that while they might not be able to turn away any Asians before, they were able to turn away some. It was some. Could you imagine comparing this to the discrimination against whites? Now they won't be able to do that. Do you really think they're going to say no to the other non-whites so that they can have another Asian person? No, they're going to be saying no to more white people. I mean, sake. Okay, here's the thing, and we're gonna go to Jesse Waters. You're holding your Jesse Waters world. We're gonna go to it in a moment, but I got to tell me if this story is true. All right. I went to the doctor today. Don't tell me if that's true. I know that's true. And I had to get some medication to help this along. And I got to go to another doctor. Can you believe this? Mark is here. Matt is here. Matt Mittens. Good day, all, and no white guilt. Thank you, Mark. Okay. Idiocracy. Now, I've not seen the movie, but I've heard from people who have, so I know what the movie's about. People become exceedingly stupid in the future, and they think that you can grow crops on what, like Mountain Dew or something like this. And people travel through time from like the current time. Everybody is imbecilic in the future. And when they were making this movie, and please, if this is not a true story, somebody set me right. But I read this. And ostensibly, it's a true story. That when they were making the movie, the director, maybe it was producers, they said, we need to clothe the idiots in the future, and we want them to be adorned. We need shoes. We want them to be adorned in like the dumbest look. Like, what would total imbeciles wear on their feet? What would that be? And they said, we don't want to have to make the shoes because there's going to be like hundreds and hundreds of pairs that we will need. So they tasked, I believe it was a woman. It said they tasked her with the job of finding out. And did somebody actually mention this also on one of my streams? Like, did Mr. V mention this? Anyhow, they tasked this woman with finding shoes for all the actors. And she went out and she came back and she had a pair of shoes. And she's like, I found these shoes and they're totally retardous. Like, only total imbeciles would wear something like this. And the director or producer said, but this is perfect. Yes. I mean, it's totally the footwear of retarduses, like total imbeciles. This is what we think. Only drooling imbeciles would wear this. Did you make it? And she said, oh, no. Bought it from a company, small company, that startup companies making these now. And the director, producers, or whatever said, no, we can't do that because we don't want to promote a brand of shoe or something like this. And she said, don't worry about it. These are so idiotic. This company will be out of business in no time. And the director, producers, or whatever, they said, obviously you're right, because these are really hideous. Those shoes were called Crocs. And they are being worn today because today is idiocracy. Today is idiocracy. You see people in those things everywhere. And if you have sunk to the level of wearing these shoes, it's okay. There is electrotherapy. There is also like a poison dart therapy that we can use on you to bring you around, to bring you to your senses. And maybe stinging by killer bees or something. Aside from that, though, we're going to get on to seeing this truly nasty and a remarkable story, as you will see, with this great demonstration of anti-whiteism infecting folks. In fact, Dude Bro Moment, great to see you, brother. He says Idiocracy is a horror movie. Is it? Is it classified as a horror? Or is it a horror for us because we're looking at Western civilization gone down the toilet? It's certainly our horror. But great to see you in the live chat. Hero, King Dude Bro Moment. Andrew says, have you heard about the situation in France? I have not. Please tag me again and let me know what's going on. Did you hear that in Canada, that they're trying to cancel Canada Day, which is coming up in July 1st because of so-called colonialism? I had not heard that, but that is a great example of anti-whites becoming dumber by the day. It used to just be the leaders of anti-whiteism used to be very devious, high IQ'd individuals working together to destroy Western civilization, Western kind, Westmen like you and me. They would take Canada Day and just remake it into an anti-white festival. They would just co-opt it. But idiots, as it becomes increasingly idiotic, imbecilic, they are doing things like white erasing the day. The smart thing for anti-whites to do there is to co-opt it, make it all about anti-whiteism and non-white people. And then after years of doing that, maybe 5, maybe 10, then just go ahead and change the name. Because it'll be all but changed in essence, in fact. I did not hear that. I did. It's horrible. Because when we see, and I want you to feel this passion. I want you to live the passion. And you can do that in various ways. You can think about, you've seen moving moments and read moving moments where sometimes the passion is fiery. Sometimes the passion is like this quiet storm. Sometimes it's very emotional. It's like bringing forth tears as it's coming forth. You have to be passionate. When we witness white erasure in Western civilization, Canada Day, or in Ireland, I believe they're trying to get rid of public prayer. And of course, this is a blow to white people. If the white people weren't praying, if it was just non-white people praying, they would permit all the prayer that people wanted to engage in. And you know it. When this happens, when we see white erasure in our history, in our holidays, and white erasure takes place when a holiday is co-opted and is made to mean something else. A month is co-opted and made to mean something else. When we see this, it is a deep psychological, spiritual wound. We feel it, but we don't articulate it. And we don't articulate it because so many out there, misleaders, misrulers, miscontent creators are out there telling you descriptions, analogies, sharing understandings and views, perspectives that undermine your natural response to what you feel every single time. No race has ever been more confused than Western kind. And it's because of this leadership. It's not because of the anti-whites directly. Directly, it's this leadership. Directly, it's the fault of white people not being able to identify who is worthy of heeding. I mean, could you imagine if King Leonidas walked among us today, President Andrew Jackson walked among us today, they wouldn't get the least bit of respect. Nobody would show up to watch them on a live stream. Nobody would show up to any of their rallies. White people aren't good enough for that anymore. All white people can show up for now in significant numbers is sexual deviancy, sexual confusion, little girls who are dilettantes and just sharing nonsense or sharing something valuable that they got from somebody like me and then changing it so that they can get credit and fame and money and sex and whatever else that they want rather than the benefit of Western kind. That's the problem. So let's go ahead and get into this with full force. LG is here. Great to see you, sister. Stephanie, hello, sister. Irish Nick, we're just talking about Ireland. Great to see you, brother. Oh, Danny boy. I'm not going to do it now because my throat is wrecked. It's wrecked. All right, let's go ahead and figure this out. You got people. I pop on over to different channels, and I'm like, this is amazing. This is amazing what people like to watch. We're going to be watching Waters World, though. Let's see what he has to say.
Social justice is a contagion. We're all affected by it.
Right there. Right, we start off right at the bat with this numb dick loser. And don't worry, don't say, oh, you're burning a bridge with that guy. Fox News would never have me anywhere near there, right? So it starts off right away. Social justice is a mind contagion. No. People hear social, and in their minds, the average person says, okay, that means people. And then they hear justice, and that's what they want always in their life. They want justice. They want justice for themselves. They want justice. So they're not going to be able, they are simply not going to be, and this is psychological warfare. Now, to get people to call the thing that victimizes them by names that subconsciously they understand to be good. This is psychological warfare. Now, does Jesse Waters have to know that he's participating in psychological warfare? No. He's just an ant in the machine that's doing the things that that serve the ideology of anti-whiteism. And so therefore he's elevated. You don't need a central controller to make that decision because anti-whiteism is living in those making the decisions. And everyone at the end of the day can do very basic math, right? They know 2 + 2 is 4. They know that anti-whites know that it's better to have their victims calling them by the names of their taking than it is for their victims calling anti-whites by the names that they give the anti-whites. They know that. It's obvious. So there is a contagion, and that contagion is anti-whiteism. It eats the health, the physical health out of Westman. It eats the psyche out of our brains, telling us you can't do more, you can't do better, and if you can, it's evil. So pull the reins down, understand that your people are, you are of an evil stock, sit down and shut up and listen to everybody else for a while. Meanwhile, you're 3 years old. This is the story that we live under. And then you can see little fake empty-suited, probably actually empty-panted people like Jesse Waters here. And then what's he do here? They put up this another thing that's wrong. Black Lives Matter. They put that up there as though the problem is black people. Now, you know that he doesn't think that black people are the problem, but this is kind of a dog whistle to your average white, selfish individualist. Your average white, selfish individualist immediately wants to say, it's somebody else, it's not us, when it's always been us. But what do we see underneath of it? This is what's powerful. This is our concept. This is what we need to be pushing. We need people to know that white guilt is a part of anti-whiteism. It's one of the most powerful parts. It is what convinces white people to capitulate, to lower our fists so that we can be victimized, because it's very difficult to victimize somebody who realizes that they're being victimized. If you can convince your victim, and that's what anti-whiteism, the psychological warfare, has done, convinced the victim that you need to be victimized for there to be happiness. For you to be happy, you must be victimized. So it was all done with words. Another punch in the face, metaphorical, to all those that say, it's got to be done with violence. If you're not talking about violence, you're just a pussycat. It was done with words. That's how we were defeated. That's how we will recapture our destiny. That's how we are recapturing our destiny, demonstrating it again and again. Let's continue before Water's water breaks to hear what he has to say. White guilt will wash away your sins. Remember, the important thing, too, when it comes to anti-whiteism is that you can never atone for the sins. This is something, especially you white ladies out there, not the ones on Team White Wellbeing, of course, but the rest of white women around planet Earth. What you have to understand is the anti-white narrative is such that you can never atone for the sins that they attribute to us. You can never atone. You can never make up for and put it in the past. You can only placate. You can only treat temporarily. And that's what ends up happening. I figured this out in 7th and 8th grade. I told all of my peers, this is a story. We're the villains, the white villains here now. The kids who went through 7th and 8th grade here before us, the white kids, they were the villains. The ones who will come after us, they will be the villains. It doesn't change. And here we are, many years later, since I've been in 7th and 8th grade, and the white kids at that same school are the villains. I was right once again. So, not something that can be atoned for. It can only be mollified or placated, and then immediately back to it. You're guilty because of this. I mean, how could you not know this? See, this is a problem of women of both sexes when it comes to the white race. You have these white males as well, and white females, and they're immediately like, oh, their feelings are hurt, and they've been just wrongly put. Look at this, all this history, and I'm just going to give over. I'm going to just roll over on my back again and again. Meanwhile, they've never lived a moment of non-white people being wrongly put upon, but they have lived infinite moments of discrimination against Westmen, of pulling down our history, our idols, of those things, those bolsters to our physical, mental, and spiritual well-being, pulling down every one of those bolsters throughout their lives. And what takes precedent? What is in the primary position? Where does the primacy go? To the fiction, to the novels, to the made-for-TV movies, to the sitcoms in countless iterations of the anti-white narrative, not their actual lived experience. The disease is anti-whiteism, Waters.
And the cure is white guilt. The more guilty you feel, the better person you are. Join us, hate yourself, and all your sins will wash away. The left will make you feel guilty for protecting your family, because white...
It is not just the left, it is the right too, in their artificial right-left paradigm inside their artificial anti-white narrative world.
Guilt's powerful, and it's more powerful than your family's safety.
Yes.
In Georgia.
Look at this. Look at this male down in the once great state of Georgia. Georgia. What was the song? Devil Went Down to Georgia. He was looking to slap the shit out of a white bitch male with a green shirt on. He was very specific, the devil was. Look at how disgusting this is. The problem you see with a lot of conservatives, patriot types, good people, though, good people, they're misled by their content creators, is that, they'll hear the demands and then they want to make arguments about like the amount that the anti-whites get. Like, no, less. They don't deserve any more because less or whatever. You need to go to the point of origin where all this begins. Anti-whiteism. These are anti-whites. These are anti-white claims. These are anti-whiteisms. These are meme pathogens. These are anti-white, hate-filled ideas for the white race. And I'm not going to hear any of it. I'm not even going to contemplate for a moment any accusation or demand for recompense, etc. Let's hear what happened down in Georgia.
This man called the cops on a homeless guy who was harassing his family. He says the man pulled a knife on him in front of his fiance and his kids.
Okay, so he's got a fiance and children. So some guy, anti-white, non-white guy, also homeless, it rolled up on him and he breaks out the knife and makes some terroristic threats.
My kids are playing on the playground, and then out of nowhere, shut up, leave me alone, go away, you're bothering me, your dog. I mean, all kinds of stuff.
All right. So these people not even paying attention, and this guy rolls up on them. Anna's with us. Great to see you, sister. She says, I love being the special forces. I uploaded today about the affirmative action news. Great, folks. Well, if you have not followed Anna, you could type your name of the channel. You can't give the actual URL, but you could type the name of the channel and on what platform. Folks, head on over there. Follow Anna. She's a great participant in service to white well-being. Great to see you here, sister. St. Andrew is here. Marlene, hello, sister. Welcome. Azimuth Clark is here. True champion. So here you go. This is not this guy. I mean, does he have kind of tits? I think he kind of has tits. Wow. I think he kind of does. So maybe a little bit of working out would help with those tits. And they've got a little bit of a belly here, but okay, that happens, especially in Idiocracy America. He probably has Crocs on. But this is not him. It's you. This is you. Oh, I don't mean the visage. You look like you to you. But this is you and your fiancé, your wife, your girlfriend, your whatever. You're with your favorite pal, whatever. You're out there. Maybe you got the kids there, or you got some kids and dogs, or you got your pets are out there. Or maybe you're just out there enjoying what looks like a nice day in the park. And an anti-white rolls up in the nice park to threaten you. Why is that? Well, because policing has been white erased. White men have been denied, in my opinion, of course, positions on law enforcement, discriminated against, the justice system totally white erased. They talk about the revolving door justice system all the way back. When did I first start hearing that? I think that was in the 80s. Anti-white all the way through. Revolving door justice system. What they're really complaining about is that the worst of the criminals go in, they pop right back out. And who are the judges and juries favoring? Is it the white devils that come through the door that they've learned their whole lives are the personification of pure evil? Or is it the non-white criminals that they feel have been wrongly put upon for so long in their lives? They just need to be released. They need another chance at your family. Well, it's you. You're sitting there. And now, since so much of the West has been white erased, you can't have peace anymore. I mean, for God's sakes, you could find more peace in the 13 colonies when there were tribes of non-white people roaming around, and the military was there. They were willing to do what had to be done to protect the citizenry. You could take a walk through the woods. We can't do that. We can't even, in civilization, you can't even go to the park because the system's been white erased, and somebody's going to roll up on you that probably shouldn't be out of jail or a mental institution or deported or whatever. What are you going to do? Well, don't type it in the live chat. Unless you are a very clever soul and you know how to word things so that they are comical and interpreted in several ways. Not many are that good like that. So this guy decides that obviously he can't defend the family. And why would you? I mean, who knows what this psycho has, right? What kind of diseases, or he's willing to cut your head off. We just saw in France one of these anti-white, non-white terrorists running around and stabbing people. You can't have a gun there unless you bring it in illegally, and many do actually. But this particular terrorist only had a knife, this anti-white terrorist, and he ran around stabbing people in the park, including babies in their carriage. Just ran up, just stabbing them, right, skewering babies in their carriage. This is the West now because it's been white erased. It's not the West because those people are present. You can have black people in a hardcore Western civilization. You can have all kinds of people because everybody's going to know about law and order. Everybody's going to know about swift and permanent judgment. Everybody's going to know. The problem is not the people, it's the anti-whiteism. And so this guy, because he has no way to defend himself at the park, he decides to call law enforcement, which is what they tell you to do. Retreat, call the police, retreat, call the police, throw yourself on your back and spread your legs, call the police. The police show up.
Just ignore it. I just ignore it. I tell my kids, come over here. They're uncomfortable playing on the playground.
He's saying he's ignoring it. Can you believe this being your father? My dad would dismember anyone threatening his children with a knife. Anybody walking up around, especially an anti-white, anybody walking up around saying, I'm going to kill the kids, I'm going to kill you, you want to be dead? That'd be the last time that person spoke without a severest lisp. Born out of many things. Harsh tickling, one of them. But I digress. This guy, he's like, I can deal with him. He's scary and he's got a knife and he's asking if we want to be dead. But you know what? I care more about the moral imperative of the day. Some might call it the zeitgeist of the day, the moral. And what is that moral imperative? This was his first mistake. And this is the first sign here that you have that this guy is horrifically diseased with anti-whiteism. He has sacrificed the well-being of his children because he did not want to sin. He did not want to be a heretic. He did not want to sin against the anti-white moral imperative. And what does it state there? Well, he's white. The guy in the green shirt with the tits, he's white. That means he's evil. The anti-white, in this case, is non-white. That means he's holy. That means he's good. The white man can't say anything negative about the non-white man in the anti-white narrative. It is as simple as that. A moral system is in place. And white people, you remember I've talked about, I've had arguments with people whose names, they've disappeared. We don't talk much about them anymore. But I had arguments with them about taking different positions, saying white people need a moral matrix to act. You can't just tell white people violence. You can't just tell them take. You can't just tell them. You have to have a moral matrix for them, and then they will act within the moral matrix. Sometimes those acts are ugly, sometimes unnecessary, sometimes criminal, sometimes righteous, sometimes good. If white people have a moral matrix, they will act. What do you see here? You see a white man with a moral matrix. And that matrix is anti-whiteism. And the very first act he took, imagine being a child and you have a full-grown adult who could just obliterate you in the blink of an eye. You're scared of, as a child, of the littlest things, invisible things. How about a dirty, threatening, scowling, anti-white, non-white with a knife? How about that? But this guy says, to sacrifice my family, my children on the altar of anti-whiteism, I'll put up with it, and I'll make my kids put up with it.
We're not bothering you. Nobody said a word to you. My kids don't want to come over on the playground because of you. So he pulls out the knife. He's like, go away, go away. I'm like, no, you're not going to tell me what to do.
But the cops did their job and arrested the vagrant immediately.
Vagrant. They need to. This will never get better on Fox, obviously, but on a healthier network and healthier content creators who probably have bigger audiences anyhow. This is an anti-white terrorist. He is terrorizing a white family inside of the anti-white narrative. There is no even remote consideration that someone terrorizes white people without considering what they have learned, the totality of their life, that these white things are walking demons. No one does that. To think for a moment that an anti-white terrorist is magnanimously terrorizing, magnanimously raping, magnanimously bludgeoning and disfiguring is the height of conscious, willful deception. He knew exactly who he was terrorizing.
Then it gets weird.
He's not even noticing the father saying, I'll just put up with this full-grown adult.
Father didn't thank the cops. He wasn't grateful at all. He was guilty.
And you notice the police officer he's speaking with is a black woman. Now, if in a healthy universe, if she had tried out for the job, she had applied, she had paid her dues, she had all the physical requirements, it's just like some sort of phenomenal being. And she could just fight with men and wrestle them down and beat the shit out of them. And she had her mind was just quick. And she got the job, more power to her. What do you think the odds are of that? What do you think the odds are? I mean, the ruling on affirmative action today, when it comes to admissions for university, by the way, of course, they are still going to be able to hire on the basis of race. I explained that in my opinion. I explained that on the roll-in short. Check it out when we're done here. But affirmative action policies, and more importantly, just the anti-white narrative, the anti-white interpretation, the anti-white of everything, the anti-white desire in anti-whites to discriminate against white people is everywhere. It continues in employment.
Started crying and pleading for the cops not to arrest the guy who threatened his family with a knife.
If I thought you were going to arrest him, I wouldn't have called. Why the hell not? I just wanted him to leave us alone. Well, the police are not like, your butler. You are being threatened with somebody saying, do you want to die? Does everybody want to die with a knife? At least reportedly so. And he's got a knife out and he's near your children and you don't want the police to take him away. What could motivate a parent to act that way? What could motivate a parent, a white parent, to, and I've talked about this for years. I gave speeches on this in person in the few places that allow me to speak when I wasn't actually holding the event, about how white people inside this anti-white narrative are like cult members, of modern day cult members, but also these like historic cults, societal cults, where they sacrifice the people's children, where they're like, oh, well, it hasn't rained yet this month and we need rain. And so what we need is somebody to give up their son so that they can have their heart, their still beating heart, torn out of their chest to make the gods happy. And the parents are just like, yes, there's some bizarre sickness of the mind. For us, it would be a consequence these delusion caused by white noir. If you don't know what it is, you need to go free and find out, because you are suffering from it like everybody else who's white. And you see this, you see these people who have like their daughters snuffed out, gang raped, snuffed out of existence. And then they're asked, well, what do you have to say, Dad and Mom? Well, the non-white people who murdered my daughter, their people that they come from make good food. Seriously. And they'll say things like the little Kennan or whatever his name was, and we see this all the time. Oh, the little white child murdered by an anti-white, non-white. Well, the parents get on television and they're like, he loved everybody. They're like this total obeisance. This like throwing themselves prostrate before this demonic god of anti-whiteism. Please, he loved everyone. Yes, he was murdered by this anti-white, non-white person, but they must have had it wrong, because he just loves all the non-white races. He was 6, and he was already so opposed to everything the white race has done to non-white races. That's what they have to say in response. Not let me kill this motherfucker with a pocket knife so that it is slow as all hell. Not that. No, it's my son, my daughter. They were hardcore anti-white. Don't misunderstand. And that's what you're seeing about to come out of this guy. This fanaticism. And you think that you're going to go about this with voting? You think in your pittance of a number that you're going to go about this with violence? These anti-white maniacs, like this one right here in the green shirt, who's crying right now, he would hit you over the head with a lead pipe and turn you into a vegetable. You think he's just all wimp? Oh, no. He's only wimping out right now because he is in offense to anti-whiteism. He believes that others will look on. And remember, that's what we talk about. Not what's just in your head, what's in the head of everybody around you. That's what's motivating him. How does he know what's in the head of everybody around him? And I'll get back to the violent point in a moment. How does he know? Is he psychic? Did he work for Psychic Friends Network? How does he know what's in the heads of everyone around him? Because they've lived the same entertainment-driven existence. That's how he knows what's in the heads of everyone around him. He knows how he would condemn. And so therefore, he knows how he is condemned. So he sees himself here in offense, a sinner to anti-whiteism, not a sinner to justice. And then you could just, as long as you say justice with a sneer, then we get it, right? We know you're meaning something different when you just go social justice. No, it still means justice to everyone. A tree is a tree, no matter how much you sneer and chuckle and giggle and snicker like an imbecile, your mind still sees a tree. That same guy in the green t-shirt, if he believed that he was confronted with a real ne'er-do-well in the anti-white narrative, somebody playing the villain, and I mean really LARPing as the villain, and this guy in the green shirt had an opportunity to put on his balaclava and hit you over the head or hit that person over the head with a lead pipe, he would do it. And he would feel righteous. And when he saw you in a wheelchair drooling all over yourself, and you got to go, and your wife leaves you, and you got to be wheeled back to your 70-year-old mother, 60-year-old mother to take care of you and wipe your ass, he would laugh his ass off to the end of his days. You got to understand anti-whiteism and where it comes from. The people who want to talk about anti-whiteism and they look at somebody like this and they say, oh no, it's just some other group. It's some other remote group. It's some other group out there that's doing it. It's not just this demon that occupies bodies of all races and cannot be extinguished by extinguishing a group of people. They would have you believe that this guy, if you were to get rid of this group or that organization, that suddenly this guy would just be skipping through the daisies, pushing out white babies, loving on the white race. You're a fool if you think so.
Arrest him, I wouldn't call. I just wanted to leave this alone.
I understand, but we still have a job to do.
Listen how sad this is. This black female officer, God bless her, having to deal with this white boy crying to her. And she's having to like, I understand, little boy. I understand, but this has got to be done. We've got a job to do. Let me explain that I'm an adult and adults have to do adult things. And then just like a boy, he breaks down crying. Now he's going to think I'm doing this because I'm white and he's black and that's sinful.
He's gonna think I'm doing this because I'm white and he's black.
Can you hear him crying? Can y'all hear that? Let's see the volume. Can I get any louder? Yeah, I can get louder. Listen to him crying.
Yeah, or he's homeless and I'm not. I don't want that.
But did he do what he did?
Yeah, but I don't.
Listen, doesn't that not sound like an adult talking to a child? This black woman is the adult in this conversation. She is the adult. She's actually having to say to this white boy, did he do what he did? He's got to be punished for that. Yeah, but I don't want to think I did it because of whatever situation he's in.
Why I'm thinking I did it because
Want him thinking I did it. That's what want him thinking I did it because of whatever situation he's in. Like non-white, that's the situation he's in. Homeless, that's another situation he's in. Wielding a knife and threatening to murder your kids, that's another situation he's in. Remember, this is the guy that was like, I'm okay with ignoring him, leering at my children and acting weird and scaring my kids. I'm okay with it. My kids should toughen up. They need to learn how to be good little anti-whites. I wouldn't doubt if this guy took him home and like really laid into his kids. This wouldn't have happened if it hadn't been for you getting scared. There was no reason to be scared. I mean, and what if he did? What if he did slap you around a bit or piss on you or whatever? What if he exposed himself to you? What does it matter? We deserve it. You got to learn to put up with these things. We see these videos on TikTok and Twitter and elsewhere. We see these videos of white parents. How about these white women, single white women with their children holding up signs about how awful they are because they're white. You know this piece of shit did that to his kids. CPS won't show up for that. CPS won't show up for him putting his children into harm's way with a psychotic anti-white terrorist in proximity. But CPS might show up if you're a white person who's not anti-white and you take your children to the gun range. Better keep that shit secret. Am I preaching facts? Let me get an amen. Let me get an amen from Team White Wellbeing if these are facts, if you're hearing truth. Don't make me start saying truth, based, real. Don't make me do it. But I don't want him to think because of whatever situation he's in. Wow.
He's in whatever situation he's in. I just want him to leave us alone.
My God. He is seriously, like when they said this guy was crying, I was like, okay. And he's crying. Let's hear it. Let's hear what he says. He's actually crying. I mean, this is a child. This is a child in an adult's body. And what do you have when you have children in adults' bodies? You have this emoting, this total emotional nonsense. So it's not thinking, it's just emoting. And you also have deep and thoughtless violence all the time. So and they come, these children in adult bodies, they come looking like this, like a doughboy, but they also come looking like ripped and stacked and covered in tattoos and ready to ruin your life out of some sort of childish conclusion that they're able to draw in their heads rather than just knowing like white people used to know in the past. things that were sort of intrinsic and innate, all lost because of anti-whiteism.
I doubt that.
Is that how you'd respond here
What did
if
she
a man
say?
threatened your children with an
Out of nowhere. Shut up, leave me around.
Come
We're not
on.
bothering
But the cops did their job and
Oh, wow.
arrested the vagrant immediately. But then it gets weird. The father didn't thank the cops. He wasn't grateful at all. He was guilty. He started crying and pleading.
The father was white guilty, is what he was. We need to be witty, you know, and like say that, you know, can you imagine at the dinner table? He was white guilty. The family would all be like, oh.
For the cops not to arrest the guy who threatened his family with a knife.
Get a
If I
statement.
thought you were gonna arrest him, I wouldn't call. I just wanted to leave us alone.
I understand, but we still have a job to do.
Now he's gonna think I'm doing this because I'm white and he's black.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to go that far back.
Yeah, or he's homeless and I'm not. I don't want that.
But did he do what he did?
Yeah, but
How he tossed in the, or he's homeless and I'm not. He doesn't know whether this guy has a house. It was all about black, white. It was all about white, non-white.
I don't want him thinking I did it because he's in whatever situation he's in. I just want him to leave us alone.
I doubt that.
He said, I just want him to leave us alone. And then the black police officer says, I doubt that. Isn't that an interesting? I thought something was strange with her response. Did anybody else catch that? She's like, I doubt. So is she actually like hardcore anti-white? And she's saying, you white mother, I know you wanted him to go to jail. And now you're just pretending like you didn't. Is that what's going on here? Franklin says, no more helium. That's what this guy was huffing on. Actually, probably two ways to go about that. Helium or castration. And maybe he had the two kids and then the castrate. I don't know. So isn't that interesting? She said, I doubt that.
Is that how you'd respond here if a man threatened your children with a knife? Would your first thought be what his lived experience was?
And then he looked away. That doughboy looked away. When she said, I doubt that, it seems to me as I'm reading the body language that he is very much aware that she is concluding that he made this decision because he's white and the person he called the police on is non-white.
Why do people act this way? Let's ask an expert.
Might be true, Marlene. But she didn't clarify. It just followed the sentence of what he said. That what he just wanted was to make him go away, not for him to be arrested. And then the police officer said, I doubt that.
Dr. Lauren Miller is a neuropsychologist. So why?
White guilt is a mind virus. Folks, we need to be getting to people with this clip from Fox News. We need to get out and we need to tell people, you take this as a catalyst and then you bring in the 5 key concepts. You bring in the other concepts that we use. You introduce them. Bam, you hit them. White guilt. You know where white guilt comes from? It's from the ideology called anti-whiteism, which white guilt's white people. So you can go into the whole thing. Start talking about all of this.
Why would he cry?
Let's see what I have not watched what she said. So you and I are watching it together. And I'm going to take a look at what you all are saying. I'm going to take a look if there are any financial gifts. And then we're going to roll out for tonight. But I'm very interested. The psychologist, what's she going to say?
And plead like that.
It looks like he's more concerned about.
Franklin says that headline sounds so similar to that no white guilt guy. Yes, it sure does. It's almost like people at Fox are watching. Does anybody remember when Fox News shared one of my streams?
The suspect's perception of him as a potential racist or.
Exactly. She said, Seems like he's more concerned with the subject's perception. Now, where does that come from? It comes from anti-whiteism, that all his entire life, and he knows, he's not psychic, friends. He knows what the suspect has been exposed to as well when it comes to entertainment, etc., education. He knows it's the same thing. That's how he's able to read the mind of the suspect. And he's worried, therefore. It's not just the suspect, though. So maybe the psychologist will point that out. It's everyone. He's worried about what the police officers think about him. He's worried about what his fiancée and friends or whatever, and maybe even children, and even himself, what he thinks about himself, sinning against anti-whiteism. And please take away from this that this is holistic. This is not like, oh, it's just this freaky incident. At every level, this happens. There are people who are your family members who will say and not say things about movies or TV shows, and friends who do the same because of that same calculation going on in their heads. That's why we're talking about this tonight. I would be doing, if this was just for like how fantastic I look and how brilliant I am, I would just be on OnlyFans. We're trying to get a message out that you take from me and you run out into the world and you just like big beds of roses, like carpet bombing beds of roses. You bomb beds of roses everywhere. Roses sprout everywhere and love is everywhere in the air with this description and understanding.
Or somebody who looks down with disdain on homeless people, then feeling relieved that nothing happened to his family because the police intervened.
Okay, so she's not mentioning everything else I just mentioned, which is really where it comes from. Because you wouldn't care what it would be a real stretch. Like if, let's just say there was what are you unlikely to run into? I don't know. What are we really unlikely to run into? Let's say oh gosh, what would be a good country? Let's say a white person from some little nondescript town in Romania, right? They show up and they're like looking like they're getting ready to destroy your car. Would you care what they thought of you? So her like abstraction about, it sounds like he cares more about what this vagrant is thinking. Her abstraction falls flat when you try to apply it somewhere else. This is not a race neutral. This is totally about the white race being victimized.
There's definitely a disconnect between his emotional reaction, which appears to be more sympathetic toward the suspect, and what he's actually saying. In the entirety of the body cam footage, you can see the complainant say it's because he pulled out his knife and said, die. So this man knows that the suspect did something wrong, but his emotional reaction reflects that his fear of the man's perception or being labeled as a racist as being more powerful.
Okay, so she's totally wrong. I mean, she's right about he's concerned about the thoughts of the anti-white terrorist, but that's not nearly what's causing this response. Not nearly. It's everything else I just articulated. Because like I said, somebody from Romania showing up and he's looking like, I'm going to destroy your car. You don't care what he thinks of you. Right? You don't care.
Does he not see that by letting this guy go, he could threaten other families with knives? Does he not see that?
How is that? This is typical cuck-servative fashion. What a cuck. I wonder who is banging his wife. What a cuck. Like, isn't he worried about other people's kids? Dipshit. His kids should be more of an issue for him.
In that moment, he doesn't appear to not only be grateful for his own family's safety, but grateful for the police having mitigated the risk to the other people who were in a public park.
Can white guilt be dangerous?
Can white guilt be? He asked it like it's serious. Like that's like, is the sun hot? Is it truly hot? If we were to touch it, would I say owie? Let's find out, Waters. We'll send you on a rocket. Let us know. I mean, what nonsense. And here's the really pathetic thing. Here I am. I'm this clean-cut white guy, been doing this for decades. I have a glorious team of white well-being champions, and we are having victory after victory after victory, changing the world, and in peace, love, hope, and redemption for the benefit of everyone. And Waters and none of these people would have me. None of them. They're going to reach out to some psychologist because she's an academic and she studied as anti-whiteism at university, and so she's very intelligent. We have people in our sphere, and God bless how much they need to be hated. These academics, and it's always like there's been this push. It comes in waves that it's well, what we need are the most inelegant, awkward academicians possible, because then people will listen. Then they can't think we're dumb or crazy, except that's always been exactly what they thought of us. It's never worked in the past, so it's not going to work in the future. I remember there was a couple of years ago, I'm not going to say, but there was a group of people, and they went, or specifically me, and they were like, no, we want people who are serious academicians. We want people who just are just studying all day long, and they are feckless little dweebs. That'll be all we have on. That will be all we'll have on with us, because we want that clout of them being feckless little dweebs that do nothing, and they've read lots of books. And the way that people know that they've read lots of books is not because we just say, because what good would that do? Honestly, nobody could be like, I don't know, let's say built rippling muscles and then have doctorates and be invited on the basis of those doctorates to speak, especially something like this, because the presentation is not what they're going for. The presentation that they want is, oh, he's so effete. He is so effete. He could probably be beaten up by a child. A child, sir, could beat his ass. And that's what they want. They think they get more credibility that way. You don't. God damn it. And so that's what they do. They reach out and they get this woman, and she's not hideous. She's not hideous, but why the long face?
I think this.
Look at her struggling to answer. Can white guilt be dangerous? Duh. Can he be dangerous? The white guilted guy is like serving up his children to a anti-white terrorist with a knife, saying die. I don't know. White people should feel guilt, so I really don't want. I can't fall on the side of saying it is dangerous.
Incidents like this could lead to people being disincentivized to call for help.
Can you imagine? Look at the acrobatics, the fucking Cirque du Soleil this bitch just did. Look at the fucking Cirque du Soleil she just did. She's like, well, people could be disincentivized to call for help in this very specific situation. But in normal situations, what you want is you want to have magnificent amounts of, you want to have very copious amounts of white guilt normally. Look at her. She's in fear of tenure. She's in fear of losing her professorship if she has one. Dr. Miller. Look at her. Look at how she's qualifying, and then I qualify some more, and qualify some more, and I qualify some more. You know what I would do if I had a conversation with her? I would run circles around her. But never mind. She's making the big bucks, because that's what women, they're better than men. That's what we were told our whole lives. Women are better than men at everything. They're just better at everything. Thank you, transgenders.
Or if it becomes more concerning for people to not appear as racist, then they're not going to be inclined to call the police if they are feeling threatened, which is a normal biological drive for any organism towards survival.
And immediately you see taking this out of the world of the real and putting it into the abstract. Any biological organism. What other kind of organism is there, bitch? What other kind? I mean, can you bend over a little further backwards? I mean, maybe if she can bend over that far backwards, maybe she's meant to be doing adult movies, because this is not her thing. She could probably make more money since she's so flexible. It's a normal just organisms. Like if an octopus is being threatened, he should feel the urge to call 911. Give me a break. You can't just say it like it is. You are seeing now. Talk about meta. This is big meta, folks. You are seeing anti-whiteism at work in her head, just as you were seeing it at work in Waters' empty head, and just as you're seeing it at work in this green boy on this channel, on this video.
You know, here we see a man who acted properly out of instinct to call for help, and then second guessed his own good judgment for fear of how either the suspect himself or society would label him.
Oh, yeah. Now she's going somewhere. Now she's going somewhere. How much do you want to bet anti-white tribunal when she returns to her place of work? How much do you want to bet? Prove yourself now. It's going to be some like giant bloated female. Prove yourself. Or I will eat you. That's what she's going to face when she gets back to work.
How amazing is it that the race card is now more powerful than that biological?
The race card, again, making it an abstraction, taking it out of what's actually. If white people were attacking and beating non-white people, he wouldn't call it the race card. This is anti-whiteism at work. Every time a conservative, so many white people, even in the groups that think that we're cutting edge, we're not like those cucks, and then they turn everything into an abstraction. Really? This is totally 100% about victimizing white people. And you call it race card? That doesn't even work.
Instinct to protect the lives of yourself and your family.
I think
this is the same thing when it comes to the pedo prepping. The conservatives, the rest, they think, well, then people aren't going to allow their children. They won't allow their children to be punished and victimized and exposed to these things, these sexual things. That's where it will end. Except no. Because you are trying to defend our abstractions while we're being punched in the race. And that's why they keep losing.
I think it really speaks to how bombarded all of us are with messages about being politically correct and using.
See, wouldn't it be, this is what we are changing. We need this woman to use anti-whiteism. People are bombarded with messages to be anti-white. Could you imagine her saying that? What a difference. People are bombarded with messages to be correct.
Proper terminology and treating people fairly.
And use proper terminology. Proper. So things that are proper are the way we want them. Why wouldn't you use proper terminology? Remember, being able to consciously say that a word or a concept means its inverse does not cause your subconscious mind to think that the word or concept means the inverse. Your subconscious mind goes with exactly what it means, what you know it to mean. That's why all of this like sneering and snickering, being a child when it comes to these things, this irony does not work. It doesn't change people's minds. It doesn't change their behaviors.
That even when we are threatened, that were more likely.
What accent is this? Threatened. She's supposed to be the doctor. Is this a legitimate, or is this like some kind of a ghetto accent?
Or some people might be more likely to question their own judgment and their own reality in favor of giving a
Some people might be. All white people like you right now questioning reality. Do you see how they like are groping toward what we figured out? So they're like groping toward it.
suspect or somebody who might have meant legitimate harm, the benefit of the doubt.
Bob says it's Pittsburgh ghetto. Threatened.
Well said. Doctor, thank you so much. We just have to treat everybody equally. Imagine that.
Oh, what a piece of shit. Look at that smug, dickless piece of shit. That was the look on his face as the other man impregnated his wife. Big old smile, goofy smile. I was like, you go right at it. Go right at her. We just have to treat everybody equally. Imagine that. Boy, that is the death knell of conservatism, of cuckservatism. We just have to be race blind. Well, remember, your handicap, your inability to see color, your handicap doesn't prevent them from victimizing you on the basis of you being a white and having a white ass. Look at him. He's saying this, and you know who is grinning back at him and nodding up and down? All the women in the sewing circle of both sexes. They're both grinning. All these white people, they're like, that's right. We just need to be colorblind, and then everything is fine. No. Everything's not been fine since the great-great-grandfathers took on this idiocy, this gelded nitwittery. They haven't been fine. Nothing's been fine. We have been born into fucking hell, anti-white hell, because of this. Imagine, we just have to treat everybody equal. Could you imagine he just said that? Imagine the cure to this is treating everybody equally, being colorblind. How does that even fucking work? I've seen this happen more than once on Fox. It's almost like somebody in the earpiece says, make sure that you end on, or they specifically give them some trite anti-white statement to say at the end of the interview, whenever there's something about race. It happens too often for it to just be like perfectly coincidental from empty suit to empty dress, from one again to the other. It's got to be something that editors are in the background saying, well, we're talking about race. Make sure you end on this anti-white idea, this anti-white concept, where imagine if we just treat everybody the same, irrespective of their color, because that's all it is. It's just a color. It's like a bandana. You can just take it off and put on a new color bandana. That's all it is. It's so disgusting. Cuckservatives, and this is not all conservative people. This is not all, patriot people. The cuckservatives know who they are. They like this shit, and they make me sick. I have, in all seriousness, I have felt the need to vomit hearing this kind of stuff. Thankfully, it didn't happen tonight. But maybe a good projectile vomiting would be good for my numbers. What do you think? Let's take a quick look at, we got one financial gift, and it's from one of the coolest guys in the universe over here on Entropy. Please get out your 007s, 007 raucous emojis galore, 95s for this man, and drop some crowns on his head. He deserves them. Drop some crowns on his head, ladies and gentlemen. It's DB50 has shown up over here on the donations tab. The only person to be there. It reminds me of myself, DB, going to all those holding all those meetings at a time, brother, when I had to put the meeting up in those quarterly newspapers that used to be delivered, mailed out to people, and on those shitty little message boards way back in the day. And I would say, here, we're going to have a meeting. We're going to talk about this. I got some really interesting things. And then I was the only one there. I knew all along. I could see other people saying, oh, well, we're going to get together and we're going to talk about how this painter is going to be, and he would like fill up. Like, fill up, you king losers. DB50 rolling in. Please drop some crowns on this man's head. He deserves them. 50 white well-being dollars. A big salute to you, brother, reminding you of myself. And that is the best compliment I can pay a person. For white well-being, he writes, and for your recovering throat. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. We're getting there. Hopefully by Sunday, I will be back to my normal pipes, and we will entertain. What's happening over here? We see Spartan is over there. Says I should watch Idiocracy because it's funny. Well, maybe I will at some point. I could do like a live, maybe like watch with you all, but obviously not on YouTube. And Bianca says, "Sup, dudes?" Hello to you over there on Odyssey. And we will swivel around to here. And we will see. And then I will take a look at the live chat. Thank you all for dropping the crowns on this hero. Keep dropping them crowns. Keep dropping them crowns, because another hero showed up. Another hero has shown up with another 50 white well-being dollars over here on Cash App. And he writes, for white well-being, and has a little shamrock. You know him, ladies and gentlemen. You know him well. Get out those crowns and those 007s for Irish Nick, another champ, reminding me of myself alone over there on Cash App, a true hero, as he watches that glorious, once epic and glorious country of ours, Ireland, having been fought for, bled for, died for, birthed for, laughed for, celebrated for, dying a gruesome death to anti-whiteism. White erase. God bless you, brother. True champion. Thank you all. The best people in the chat are Davey, Franklin, Cool Papa J Magic, Franklin again, Victorian Time Traveler, Davey again, Lavish, JC Denton, Cool Papa J Magic again, Franklin again, Irish Nick, Franklin again, Cool Papa J Magic again, Dude Bro Moment, he says it's a legend. God bless you all, everybody, for celebrating. Everybody who celebrates is better than everybody who doesn't. Whoa. The crowns. Keep raining crowns. Keep raining crowns, ladies and gentlemen, because this guy, you know, the earth shakes when he walks nigh, because he is a giant in the Promethean sky. No white guilt clips. Financially gifting also 50 white well-being dollars on this, a great day of education, edutainment for Western kind and for all peoples who want to defeat anti-whiteism. God bless you, Clips. We love you, man. Thank you so much for all the hard work you do. If you are not following Clips, you must follow him now to the gates of hell. You must follow that gentleman over on Twitter, he's on Gab. He's on TikTok, I think. Or did you get kicked off of there again? Follow him everywhere. Follow him on YouTube. Share. If you can't make the clips, you don't have the time. Clips is making the clips, even though he doesn't have the time. So magnify what he's doing. I appreciate it. God bless him. God bless you all. Oh, the great Lunder down under Thunder says the No White Guilt Germany account is up and running on Twitter. God bless you, brother. Thank you for all that hard work from the other side of we're everywhere. We are a great white ring of roses around planet Earth. Across ethnic lines, across national lines, we are the recapture of our destiny. Well done. God bless you, brother. Doers. That's what we are. We're not just watching, we're doing. Promethean Kitchen says, no white guilt. Yeah, Jason, it turns out that you were right because our national holiday, Canada Day, was originally known as Dominion Day, but the anti-whites didn't like getting changed. They didn't like that, so they changed it. I see. Well, what a surprise. So that was a little earlier in time that they did that, when the anti-whites were a little less stupid than they are today. Thank God they're getting dumber, but they still got enough intelligence and power that we've got to take them seriously at all times. White Girl is here. Welcome to you, sister. I don't believe I've seen that name before. Machiavellia Sucks is with us. Great to see you, brother. Did I say hello to Stephanie already? I thought I did a Stephanie, but I don't know if it was Rogers. But hello, sister. Time Traveler says he's farming with no white guilt. Very cool. To be farming with no white guilt. Oh, wouldn't that be amazing? Cool Papa J Magic says, quote, let's ask an expert and then no white guilt appears on the screen. That would be very cool. Would it be funny or sad? What would it be if I had started like really making fun of the guy? If I was in this woman's position, because I'm sure she has just totally deserves in her contemptible fear, her shuddering fear that she deserves to be there. But would it be funny if I was on with Waters and I was like, this guy's a bitch? That would be good. That would be good. Anna says, you were right, no white guilt, about white women pushing white guilt the hardest. A woman who was my best friend in high school had a platform of 148,000 where she promotes anti-racism, which we all know is anti-whiteism. Julia says she loves my snarky voice. Well, thank you for that. I need to practice voices and impressions. I used to do that stuff all the time when I was very young, and I was pretty adept. And so maybe I should try to retrieve some of it. That's why sometimes we're like hanging out, we're streaming, and then all of a sudden there's like a character coming out, and I am as surprised as all of you. I'm like, where's that from? And then I don't remember where it's from. So being here on the live stream can occasionally be as entertaining for me, or probably more entertaining when I surprise myself than it is for some folks watching. Spud is with us. Oh, I just had a pain in the shoulder. Don't like that. Don't like that. I'm going to have to go abuse it. I'll teach it a lesson. Won't tolerate. Won't tolerate it. Oh, it looks like our troll slayers, I don't know, probably the great Franklin, the ultimate troll slayer, got to one of the J-Spugs who showed up. You're just supposed to complain about Jays. That's it. Just complain about them. Need you to bellyache. Why aren't you bellyaching about Jays? Why aren't you bellyaching? Come on, you need to get started. It ruins your life. You ruined your life, and you lose your girl, and you lose your wife, and you lose your children, and your family disowns you, and you lose your job. You get thrown out of school, and everybody hates you. I should be, if I could get up like on the top of the Empire State Building with a bullhorn and start shouting about my predictions when it came to Kanye West, and they're just perfect. Perfect. You know, I probably had scores. It was scores. How many scores? I don't know. Maybe not 100. I had scores of these Jay Spurgeon clowns showing up saying, this is it. They all became, Kanye West fans. This is it. This is going to, and I said, it's not going to do anything. 6 months from now, it'll all be memory. Kanye West will be ruined relative to where he was. A lot of people who fell into this and started Jay Spurging everywhere will have suffered tremendously by it, and nothing will have happened. And that's exactly what happened. Exactly. Where are all those little fucking turds now? All those little comical turds now? They're rabbit turds is what they are. They couldn't even be the shit of something courageous or scary. They're not even like the turd of bears, because a bear can be scary. This is like rabbit turd. That's all they are. Just some more belly aching. Just complain more. All right. Okay, let's roll. What do we have left before we roll out of here? Slide through the live chat, see if I missed anything. Oh, yeah, Bob, I agree. Yeah, white boy is a meme pathogen in the anti-white narrative. But in this case, and I was very careful to really enunciate white boy. I'm really identifying this guy as a boy. But you're right. I agree. Oh, Mestizo's here. Great to see you, brother. And Mestizo said, amen. That's how you know he's good. I'm going to have to learn how to do that Banderas guy. Isn't he an actor? Truth for Jesus is here. Wonderful to see you. Welcome. Ulrach has arrived. Great to see you. And St. Andrew, I'm just looking to see if anybody else has tagged me, and maybe you didn't tag me, but you wrote to me. That's harder for me to see because there's a conspiracy with the monitors and the printers to make everything blurry. All right, strolling through. I think we had a good time, yeah? Misty is here. Hello, Misty. Great to see you, sister. All right. You better not be battling depression. Franklin says he's battling depression with no white guilt. We are. I will come and pick you up to the stars, my friend. I will fill you with the power of Prometheus, and you will go forth with might that you could never have fathomed. The enemies of Western kind, our victimizers, will fear you, and others will see you in total awe. All right, I think that is that's about it. Let me check over here. Is that guy? Or let me look. I don't follow. You know, a lot of people are probably like, "Oh yeah, of course," but I don't follow movies and actors. Let's see what comes up with that. Vendettas. Yes, I will. I might have to learn how to impersonate him. We'll see. And we have over here on D Live some of their cryptocurrency. 1 lemon's worth of cryptocurrency from Board Troll. Thank you very much for that, brother. I appreciate it. The lemon of cryptocurrency. All right. With which, of course, I will make whiskey. I'm kidding. I don't drink. You know what we're going to do, though? What are we going to do? We're going to be back on Sunday for the gathering. I don't think we'll do another roll-in like this, but maybe a couple of short or two. We'll see. And because there's so much going on. But I heard a very interesting excerpt from Stefan Molyneux, the philosopher guy and he came up with a UPB, universal preferable behavior, to serve as, I guess, a replacement maybe for morality. I might be speaking in error, I don't know. But it's fascinating because it speaks like directly to what we experience, being first with so many things. And he's talking about himself being first with so many things, and how that has been problematic, and how he has been hated on and denied, and then others usurp. And it was like very interesting. So I don't know if he would ever appear on a stream with us. Maybe he would. I don't know. I think his thing was peaceful parenting. And if he'd be interested in coming on, I would give him the floor happily for an hour, even though I guess he chooses not to be on YouTube anymore. I would give him the floor. But that might mean that he doesn't want to be, if he doesn't want to have a channel, maybe he doesn't want to even appear on YouTube anymore. I don't know. But if he wants to talk about peaceful parenting, we just had the great Jill Colton on. We were talking about getting pregnant, and particularly with women who are a little older. And so then we could transition to the rearing of children and his ideas on that. That would be an interesting show, I think. But yeah, I might want to review this excerpt because it's telling. He has gone through this. He's gone through a very similar, maybe even almost identical experience, being the first with so many things. And now watching how years later, people are saying the things other like content creators, saying the things he said years earlier, not giving him any credit. And and it was so, it just hit me. I was like, holy shit, that's exactly what happens with us. Because they say these things like it's just self-evident. Like anti-whiteism. It's just self-evident. Jason, just self-evident. Except I'm still alive, dumbasses. I'm still alive. I vividly remember when this wasn't happening. And especially all you people trying to shut me down. And even more and more evidence showing up of the efforts to shut me down. Just cringy, jealous little bitches. Lunder says that I'm in IMDb now. Is that the actor thing? You're telling me, or you're asking me? I don't know. Franklin said, I can't interview Stefan Molyneux, but I can interview Methan Stalinu. Ah, okay. I'll do that then. I'll have Methan on if Methan would like to come on. Lavish says, may you live long and healthy, happy, fulfilling life. I appreciate it. Thank you. I hope so. I hope I'm a continual thorn in the side of anti-whites and all of these little me-nots. I see them as like little infected trolls. They're just running around all the time. Even the like sophisticated ones, they might have like a pocket protector or maybe a handkerchief that's embroidered. Little diseased trolls, though. They have funny little shoes on. Crocs. They just want to run around and be like, no, years and years. No, that doesn't work. You can't use concepts you make up. You can't do it. You gotta play. And then at the other end, it's just like, it's all about the Jays. You just gotta complain about them. Complain about Jay. For the 10 millionth meeting. This meeting will be very different in that nothing will be different. We'll be complaining about Jays. Okay. Great. Do y'all have jobs? No? Okay, thought so. Yes, years and years. And now all of a sudden it's matter of fact. That's one of the most irritating things. And it's pissing that Methan Stalinu off, because in that excerpt I heard, he's trying to cover it up, but he's not covering it up well. He's pissed. He's pissed, and he has a right to be pissed. These people are all like, no mention of him, and they're like, well, it's matter of fact, it's self-evident. Except no, it wasn't, until somebody came along. So he actually calls it F, but he says the word being first, and said he never wants to be first at anything again because of how people behave. Well, we're going to handle it a different way. We're going to drive them under the hooves of galloping steeds of love. And with that, Irish Nick says, you pick us all up. God bless you. I appreciate that, brother. Samuski is with us. I'm always suspicious of croc-wearing people, especially those with embroidered handkerchiefs. Yes. Kerchiefs. Yes. Exactly. Traveler, I stopped following Methan Stalinu when I became a Chase burger. I wonder how his ideas will sound from the lens of going free. Well, I can tell you, because every time I've heard them, they're from the lens of going free. I see him as an honest, a very bright, honest guy, as honest as a human being can be. I don't mean like nobody's like perfectly honest, but honest guy trying to navigate, trying to say how he's seeing the world, knowing the pitfalls about the world. Kind of like the two we were watching in this, the two we were watching on Fox talk about this, and the guy in the green t-shirt. Knowing the pitfalls of the world, knowing what can destroy you. And honestly, I think kind of like myself, in that he doesn't create content. I could be wrong, but because I haven't heard like lots and lots of his stuff. But what he seems is like he's not just making this content because it's all he can do. He's making the content because it's a reward for him. Like, this is a reward for me. So I doubt he knows about us. But he's obviously going to be seeing anti-whiteism, white erasure, Western kind showing up, and he's going to be wondering, what's this? And then if he meets us, then maybe this Methan Stalinu there'll be at least some sort of meeting of the eyes, if nothing else. Yeah. White Girl says, white history streams would be great, Jason. Like how we got here in the West. Well, we kind of talk about that in my book, Prometheus Rising. And we actually talk about it in the beginning of this brute born guilty. I can tell you all that there is a guy in the white sympathetic sphere who is very jealous of this book. A very sophisticated, educated guy. He is extremely jealous of this book. And I find that humorous. Like, get on with your life, man. Stop being so jealous. So what do I say? Let's see. It's been a while since I've looked back here. Let's see. Yeah, the innovative aspects of it, and the poetry, music, drawings really got under his skin. I'll read this, and then we will roll out. And a big thank you to the $50 financial gifters: Irish Nick, No White Guilt Clips, Dude Bro Moment. And then, of course, a thank you to the Lemon over there on D-Live. Brother, thank you. So what does this say? So this is in the very beginning of the book, in the prome, where I was writing notes on, I was at a meeting, a white sympathetic meeting. I was writing notes on my cell phone. And it was from those notes that I wrote this prome. And then toward the end of it, which is just an introduction, toward the end of it, I say this. And let me see, so I can clear things up for you. I'll read it this far. I am with a guy who's been an activist, a white sympathetic activist, at this meeting for, I guess 4 decades. And he's speaking, and then I'm set to speak after him. And he's a friend of mine. How strong must love be to persist in the face of a powerful evil that has named it hate? How resolute must love be when its enemy uses the mass media to convince the world that it is hate? How courageous must love be to raise its banner and sound its trumpets in an age that will purge it as hate? Of this we can be sure. At some point in the distant past, whites were a single tribe, a single people. They were alone against a hostile world, a frosty star in the depths of an ancient darkness, ringed by the ferocity of the natural world, besieged by alien tribes and animal predators. But they were a people, together, united, and possessed by an indomitable spirit. Before us, the world's darkness receded. Its nightmares withered in the light of our coming. Its monsters fled for the darkling holes that brooded in the shadows. We built civilization, and in our victory over that which sought victory over us, we fell from grace. In our triumph, we turned to folly. We renounced our brotherhood and rejected our unity. As ungrateful children of our ancient sires, we turned to separate paths, following petty rulers who put their insignificant lives before the fundamental importance of our people. And in so doing, we spilled our brothers' blood. The darkness that we conquered is once again crawling from its thorny layers, creeping across the world under many fair-seeming guises, now as cancers upon our civilization, now forming gangs and armies, now devouring us in our disunion. It was a song that called us from the darkness long ago, and once again, that mysterious music is beckoning. We will reunite as a single people, a great ring that will circle the globe for our well-being, or we will perish, and the western light of the world will go with us. These people are my people, my nation. And even as I type, even as I ponder how today decides tomorrow, a new spirit rises within us, a spirit that refuses to yield to those who seek our undoing. I have always loved our people, their heroism, their genius, their spirit. And though my heart is filled with concern for them, it sings now. It sings with the coming of the dawn. These are my people, and I love them. I was born for this. It is my destiny. Sam leans back in his chair. He laces his fingers and smiles. He's telling the group that it's time to hear from me.